Hello to all my dear ones, awakened souls, my sisters and brothers in spirit. I hope you are all doing well. Today I've come with a new video, and it's nothing like my previous ones because I had a very personal and significant experience, and I truly thought that perhaps sharing it with all of you, my dearest and most cherished ones, would indeed be quite worthwhile and beneficial. Maybe it will light a path for you as well, just as I personally witnessed and experienced its profound and transformative impact in my own life, and indeed it significantly heightened my awareness and truly set me free from previous constraints. I sincerely hope and believe that this will undoubtedly have the very same positive and liberating effect on your lives as well, bringing about similar beneficial changes and newfound understanding. Before anything else, I ask my Great Spirit, my higher self, to be here within me and with me, and that whatever comes from my mouth, may it be a light of hope that enters your homes and places even a small ray of light on your path, so that you can more easily find your own way. God willing, amen. So, here's precisely what transpired. Just a few days ago, I made a trip to a rather large grocery store and meticulously completed all of my essential shopping. Subsequently, I proceeded to stand patiently by the designated cashier, and it was, in fact, one of those modern automated cashiers where you no longer have any direct interaction with an actual human person anymore. You scan the items yourself and it goes through. As I was busily engaged in performing this task, the other cashiers were also positioned directly in front of me. At a very closely situated cashier station, there was a gentleman standing there. He was almost directly across from me, just a short distance away. He was doing the same thing too. I was busy with my own stuff, and I noticed that gradually, people started gathering around that man. One by one, the crowd came over and he started talking and all that. Suddenly, I looked over and saw that this man had a truly enormous snake wrapped around his neck. It was a strikingly white snake, incredibly thick, remarkably big, and exceptionally long. It was coiled around him like this, all over his body. And he was shopping. And everyone else kept gathering around him. Then he started the show. He performed. He would lift it up, go up and down, and so on. I was actually so incredibly close that I genuinely felt like my very own heart was about to completely stop at any given second. There was absolutely no conceivable way out of this terrifying situation. I immediately started trembling uncontrollably and slowly, cautiously backing away from the imminent danger. And it was a terrifying snake, a very large snake, and completely white, pure white. Then the concerned manager came over to me and became quite worried because I was in such a truly terrible state. And I have to honestly say, I genuinely thought I had completely faced all my deepest fears and wasn't afraid of absolutely anything at all. And honestly, if I ever truly thought that one glorious day I'd come across a magnificent, powerful lion or a truly wild, untamed tiger, I'd go right up to it and bravely do it. I'd look it directly in its captivating eyes and then gently, lovingly hug it with all my heart, just like hugging a dog. But I've had a problem since childhood. With reptiles, a strange, overwhelming terror comes over my entire body that makes me feel like I'm about to die, a profound and chilling dread. And especially snakes. That's the only thing I am absolutely terrified of. And then the manager promptly came over and gently pulled me away from the immediate situation. I then started angrily asking why this individual had brought a live snake here to this very place. This could have, well, I'm not just talking about myself. Other people could have had a heart attack because of this, just from seeing it. A snake has no place in a store where we buy our daily necessities. It's a place for children. It's a place for elderly women. It's a place for elderly men. It's a place for people who might not even be able to run away. Some might be in wheelchairs. And why did you even allow this to happen? And that lady very calmly told me that it's the same for her and we can't stop him. Just like someone walks with a dog. Someone else walks with a sparrow. Someone has a cat. This gentleman has a snake, and he loves his snake like his own child, and we have no right to tell him not to bring it. Anyway, I left that place. I was feeling really bad. I sat in my car, and until I got home, I felt like I was angry at that man. Angry about why it happened to me. Why did I have to see it? Now I can't sleep anymore. I won't go back to that store anymore. Thousands and thousands of judgments came into my mind. And I was just angry. And personally, I'm someone who doesn't lose my temper easily. I don't judge people. I try as much as possible not to judge others, and I love everyone. But I felt like I didn't like this man anymore. I just couldn't tolerate him at all. I was also angry at this person who came in front of me today and gave me this fear. And this was a battle within myself. While I was driving home, it was as if there were two Minas. One was lashing out. She was angry. She was scared, very much so. She was feeling terrible, and the other one was saying, "Well, what are you going to do now? Why are you so angry?" So what if you saw him? He's a person too. He has his own freedom as well. And honestly, I truly saw a deeply unsettling side of myself that I genuinely didn't like at all. It was incredibly difficult and quite challenging for me to fully comprehend and accept that someone else, an individual from outside my own personal sphere, was actually capable of pulling me out of my carefully constructed comfort zone, a place where I always felt completely safe and secure, a sanctuary where absolutely no one could ever make me angry or upset, and where no one could ever truly get to me or affect me in any significant way. In fact, I was angry at myself. Anyway, I eventually went back home, and this entire situation truly got to the point where I actually felt like I genuinely wanted to severely punish myself for having judged someone else so harshly and unfairly. Why am I angry at this man? Why am I angry at the CEO who is ruining his own work? And this conversation with myself lasted for 2 days. But in the conversation I had with myself, I realized that I still have a lot of issues with myself. Someone can, in just 1 minute at a store, make me lose control of myself. To the point where I ultimately end up doing things that I truly believe are completely unworthy of a human being. And yet, to everyone I meet, I say, let go of your fears. Fear has no meaning at all. There is no such thing as fear. These are all creations of our own minds. And this led me by the second day to the point where I started punishing myself. I said, I'm not going to release any more podcasts. I'm not going to give anyone advice anymore because I haven't overcome it myself yet. And to me, someone who hasn't overcome a problem themselves but tells others what to do is no different from psychologists, is no different from fake leaders. It's nothing more than just listening to the radio. For me, I listen to someone who has experienced that pain, who has been in that situation. And now they say, look, I was there, I went through it, and this is what happened to me, and I succeeded, and now I'm sharing this experience with you. I'm sharing it, I'm dividing this journey with you. And this side of myself felt new, as if I had never seen it before. Such things had never happened to me. I didn't know. What's truly interesting and profoundly significant is that this particular full moon, specifically the new moon in Sagittarius, which I have indeed mentioned in the previous video and have also extensively talked about in my earlier foundational videos as well, is precisely when the powerful celestial body Pluto comes forth to fundamentally destroy us, only to then allow us to be completely reborn anew. It meticulously targets those specific parts and aspects of our lives that we genuinely do not need to be connected to or carry forward into our future existence, or alternatively, those crucial areas that are in dire need of being thoroughly fixed and rectified. If we ourselves do not proactively and willingly fix them, the universe, in its infinite wisdom and unwavering resolve, will inevitably and forcefully compel us into challenging situations where we absolutely have to confront them head-on, diligently correct them, and ultimately remove them entirely and permanently from our lives. Anyway, this profound internal struggle truly made me tell myself with absolute conviction that I simply do not possess the inherent right or the necessary authority to guide or advise others in any meaningful capacity. This realization became undeniably clear to me, and it will remain so until I fully comprehend and resolve the fundamental problem or deep-seated issue that I have with the snake, whatever that may truly entail. Why am I afraid? Why have I become like this? On the other hand, I knew I was protected. I knew that like a child you were holding it in your arms, but why did I run away from myself? Why did I lose control of myself? And until I fix this, I won't give advice to anyone, especially under this Sagittarius full moon. You know, it brings something to an end. And it forces us to finish things and to move on to another stage. It basically brings certain things to a close. It's a significant time of endings, and this profound shift affects all zodiac signs across the celestial sphere. However, its most substantial and impactful effect is specifically on those individuals who were born between June 10th, 11th, and 12th. More precisely, the 10th, 11th, and 12th days of June, a period which quite notably includes myself. Or for those who started something in December and are now seeing the results, and it's coming to an end. Or things from 12 years ago that have been hidden from us will become clear, or things from the year 2000 that left us uncertain and not knowing what we were doing. This issue, this case, is somewhat coming to a close. Well, not completely closed, but we are entering a new phase. That's precisely why I was feeling quite anxious and apprehensive about what might potentially happen in the near future, and to prepare myself for what changes might happen in my life, because I am right at the center of that timeline, meaning it happens on my birthday, so its impact is even greater for me. I invited a group of women to come so that we could do this together. We cleansed the houses. They came to my house to cleanse it, and I cleansed myself as well, because I had 2 really bad days. And these 2 days, I truly felt very upset with myself for letting something external ruin my days and moments so much. The image of that snake was constantly in front of my eyes. All this time, I have believed that nothing external should be able to bother me. And as I've always said in my previous videos, Pluto comes. At any given time, it appears in these truly strange and unexpected aspects to make us profoundly aware of its significant influence and presence. It pulls us inward, so that a new birth can take place, so that a new version of me can be born, and whatever no longer serves me in my future life is taken away from me. And if I don't do this voluntarily, the universe will create situations for me where I am forced to do it, because it is elevating my soul to a higher level. And I absolutely have to go through this challenging process, whether by sheer force or by any other conceivable means, so that I can truly grow and develop. That's precisely why I made the conscious decision to thoroughly cleanse myself, both spiritually and physically, and to meticulously purify my entire living space, my cherished home. And during the entirety of these 2 dedicated days, my sole focus and continuous activity involved deep, heartfelt prayer and earnest supplication to the Almighty God and the Divine Creator of all existence. My higher self, the vast universe, everything within its boundless expanse. I meticulously asked all of them, seeking answers and understanding, to take this away from me. Because this fear, it's not a valid fear, and I need to free myself from it. I wanted to know where its root comes from. I wanted to see why I am like this. It was bringing me to the brink of death, and I truly asked my higher self to clarify these things for me, and I promised, I committed, that whatever happens, I am ready to see it. Because sometimes a person doesn't make a commitment to themselves, doesn't make a promise. I'm not ready, and it's bad when you don't let your soul be free and you're not ready. But when we declare our readiness, the universe responds to you. I said, I am ready, and I want to know where the root of this comes from, and I don't want to carry it into my future. This fear, or this person I was over these past 2 days. I didn't like this Mina that I had become. And they came, and we did the cleansing, and as everyone was leaving the house, there were about 6 or 7 cars in the parking lot. Everyone got into their own car. Our neighbor came and joked around with them. Then our other neighbors showed up. Their sons passed by on their bicycles. The mailman came. The mailman came and started talking with them, and there were about 20 or 25 people in our house. And they said their goodbyes, and everyone was leaving one by one. As soon as I came inside, I carefully locked the door and then got myself fully ready to take a refreshing shower. This was because I absolutely did not want to touch anything at all before I had taken my shower and thoroughly cleansed myself physically. This was important because we had already completed that significant spiritual cleansing. So, I was just getting myself ready to take a refreshing shower when I carefully opened the other door that led directly into the spacious yard, because I had completely forgotten to bring something important inside that had been left out in the warm sun for quite some time. So, in a very inappropriate state, meaning I just wanted to grab something and come back in, I was wearing a t-shirt. I didn't have any shoes on. My clothes were not appropriate at all. My clothes were only suitable for going into the shower. They were for taking a shower. As soon as I stepped out to that particular table and then immediately turned back around to come inside the house, the door was wide open, and I clearly saw a long, dark, black snake slithering inside. A small, thin, black snake. It was sitting right inside the house, positioned right by the front door. In just about 2 or 3 days, 2 large snakes appeared. This is strange to me, because I can say that in my entire life I had never really encountered a snake, and then for things like this to happen within a week. This is nothing but the work of Pluto and the heavens and the galaxies, that they have some plan for me. When I first saw this beautiful moon, I immediately noticed this slithering snake. My whole body started to shake. It was a complete stroke-like state. I don't have a phone. I don't have proper clothes. I don't have shoes. Nothing, just bare feet. And the only thing I did, I ran toward the parking lot. And I was crying. I was shouting. Because there were about 25 people there, and not even 5 minutes had passed. There was no one in our parking lot. The last person who had left was the mailman, and I ran after his car, but he turned onto the street. And I started going to the neighbors' houses. And in the area where I live, it's impossible for there not to be someone in one of these neighboring houses, on this side, that side, or the other. That's just how it is. I knocked on the doors of all these houses. I almost wanted to break the glass. I was knocking. I was just knocking so I could find someone. And I had no intention of bothering anyone. My initial intention was to carefully find a suitable phone so that someone from the local Animal Protection Society could promptly come and safely take this creature away from here. But while I was diligently doing all this, I was also actively making significant plans for my own personal future. 1,000 times I cried like this, saying, okay, I don't want any harm to come to the snake, but I'm not staying in this house anymore. My life is over now. Tonight, I don't even know where I'll sleep in this house. How can I even get out of here with this situation? I was really shaken up. What will happen to me? But I know this. My life is over in this house, whether it's here or not. Even if they come and take it away. I am truly and genuinely sorry to say this, but I will not be willing to live in this particular house under these circumstances. And these were precisely the things that I was saying. I don't know why. It was as if I had lost hope. I went back, right there, in front of the open door. And I clearly saw that the large snake was calmly sitting just outside, on the very outer side of the sturdy door, quite still. And as soon as it looked at me and I looked into its eyes, in less than a single second, it dramatically shrank down to a much smaller size. It left. And if I hadn't seen this scene, something might have happened to me. Or maybe, I really don't know. I don't know. I was feeling really awful. But because I saw it leave with my own eyes, I got the courage to go into the house and grab my phone. There was also a little blanket. I wrapped that around myself too. I left the house and went in another direction. Then I called my partner, who was traveling at the time, and I just cried and kept asking, tell me, why does something like this have to happen when you're not home, when not a single one of the neighbors is home? When there were 25 people in the parking lot and then everyone disappeared and only this happened to me, so that I would be the only one to witness it. And his personality is such that he is a very considerate person. He's a very patient person. He is a very calm and composed person. Whenever a problem arises, he starts dealing with it very calmly. He talks logically. He calms you down. During this time, while he was listening to me, apparently he was also texting the others. He said, so-and-so is on the way, so-and-so is coming to pick you up. So-and-so is at the door, go open it. He had all of this under control, but I was just crying and saying my life is over. I don't want to stay here anymore. I don't want to stay in this house. And why me? Why did this happen to me? Why was no one here? When just 2 minutes ago everyone was here. And this particular person is not only incredibly logical and rational in their thinking, he's also remarkably calm and composed. Whenever something truly intense or challenging happens, he has this amazing ability to crack a witty joke and say something so genuinely funny and amusing that even in the midst of intense anger or frustration, you inevitably end up laughing out loud. That's precisely how he consistently manages to calm me down and bring a sense of peace. It's just his personality. I mean, he's so good at knowing exactly what to do to turn things into a joke, to make it playful. At the end of his words, I saw our friends were knocking at the door. I saw the cars had arrived, our friends had come, help and all that. He said, by the way, let me tell you something. Charlie, a truly gentle soul, never hurts anyone. Charlie really, truly, genuinely hates most people, so please don't worry at all. There was absolutely no way whatsoever that he would ever hurt you in any manner. What do you mean? I said, who's Charlie? Who are you talking about? You know this snake. This snake has a name. You knew it existed somewhere within the confines of the house, didn't you? She said, yes, he is really quite cute, you know. He's very harmless. He truly loves us very much, and his cherished home is located in the spacious basement area. very, very far from the building, and he never comes near people. Before you moved into this house, he already had a home here. And I never really... Now, on top of absolutely everything, I'm truly shocked once again that for a full 12 long years, you completely hid this significant fact from me, and it seems everyone else in the world knew about it except for me. And everyone loves him, this Mr. Charlie. Anyway, she said all this and then jokingly said, "Don't you hear everything everywhere? You say it's the year of the snake. This year's the year of the snake." Well, the snake had come to say hello to you and make these kinds of jokes. And then my friend came in. It was Saturday night. On Saturday nights, we go to the seaside for release and for cleansing our conscious mind and our deep awareness, and reflecting on whatever truly happened in the past week. There's a dedicated group of us who regularly go there, and we joyfully dance and play music together, or some people just relax. Some of these items go into the vast sea, and we meticulously perform all this thorough cleansing and then responsibly give it to the sea. Subsequently, I promptly got into my car and, accompanied by my friend, drove directly toward the sea. But I wasn't feeling well at all. In the car, absolutely everything was a profound question for me. Why did I just see that slithering snake right there? Why did that snake come to the house and all these things? Until we arrived at the beach. Here, I want to mention something. When the universe wants to show us something or bring out our weaknesses and shadows, it sets up such a precise scenario right before our eyes that if I really don't see it, it means I'm just fooling myself. It arranges the scenes just like a skilled cinematographer, 1,000 times better than any cinematographer. It places the pieces together in such a way that this situation and this event happened to me. It's all for my sake. And I feel that, I was crying the whole time. I said, why did this happen to me? Why did it turn out this way for me? While it wasn't against me, it wasn't to hurt me, it was to take away a weakness that had been with me my whole life. Since I was a child, since I was 4 years old, I was never afraid of anything. And even if I was afraid of something, I learned to deal with it. But when it came to snakes, I never wanted to face this fear. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to confront it. I didn't want to admit it. But I have a serious weakness when it comes to this. And now, at a time when, after 12 years, exactly 12 years, Jupiter has returned to Cancer, certain truths are becoming clear to us that haven't been clear for 12 years. We swept them under the rug. We didn't know. We either genuinely didn't know the full extent of what was happening, or we were intentionally made into an unwitting test subject for some unknown experiment. And this powerful, illuminating full moon, with its profound celestial influence, inevitably comes to take away something that I am inherently weak in, something that leaves me vulnerable and exposed. To show it to me, and to completely remove it entirely from my life. Anyway, when we went to the beautiful seaside, they are all truly experienced individuals with a great deal of profound knowledge in these spiritual and deeply personal matters. We talked together for a considerable amount of time, and when my dear friend thoughtfully asked, "Why do you feel so incredibly bad and distressed?" I said, "This is precisely what happened, this unfortunate event," and so on. She then responded, "Don't you genuinely know?" I said, "Know what?" She said, "I had told you that this happened to me." I was lying under a tree and meditating. Suddenly something fell into my hand. I thought it was a tree branch, so I tried to throw it away like this. Suddenly I looked and saw that it was a snake, and I had squeezed it with my hands like this. Then I started screaming and shouting because I panicked. It wasn't a tree branch. It was a little snake in my hand that had fallen on me from the tree, or I don't know where it fell from, but it was in my hand. And 2 days later, I ended up in the hospital with severe chest pain and was taken to the emergency room where I was dead for 20 minutes. And those 20 minutes after I came back to life, it was a mystery to all the doctors how I survived. Because I had stopped breathing and everything, I didn't have a pulse anymore. I was given a new life, and since then, I've experienced spiritual growth. He said that the snake had come to deliver a message to you, that you are undergoing spiritual elevation. You're moving up one level, and there's nothing to fear. Another friend of mine came and asked me, if I had come to you and told you about these things, what would you have said to me? I said, I would have said that maybe you're going through spiritual changes. You're reaching spiritual elevation. A fear you have, God has brought it before your eyes. And she said, why don't you think this way about yourself? In short, the things I heard from this group, I realized I just can't handle it. I started feeling even worse. I'm more upset with myself than anything. And I took off my clothes and went into the sea. The moment I entered the sea, I started praying, and even 2 days before, I kept praying for a sign. I'm ready. I'm willing to see it. If I have a weakness, I want to get rid of it. And in an instant, I completely went underwater. And under the water, my soul separated from my body. And I entered the body of that very snake. Charlie, whose actual name I didn't even know at all, was a person of great mystery to me. Because I said to him, oh, so you know the snake? Did you give it a name? He said, I don't know it. Everyone knows it. Everyone loves it. Only you don't know. We were afraid of you, not the snake. I entered Charlie's body. And from Charlie's perspective, I was seeing Mina, and I was observing her closely. And I just saw things. He answered many important questions for me that I had been diligently searching for throughout my entire life. And I realized that Charlie had come there just to show himself to me. And he hadn't come for anyone else. That's precisely why, at the moment I was completely alone, he came forward to deliver a message to me, not to anyone else. Not so that the Animal Protection Society or anyone else would come and catch him, and I realized that he had put his own life at risk. Even though he doesn't like to come into houses, doesn't like to see people. He emerged from the other side of the imposing building, his presence immediately noticeable. He was undeniably here for a very specific and important reason, to bring me some crucial and perhaps even urgent news. To do something for me. And I realized that Charlie considers himself the owner of the house. He sees himself as our protector. He thinks he's our guardian. By staying in the basement, living underground, he really doesn't like coming up to the surface. He's protecting the land of the house. And I truly realized that indeed Charlie. I waited patiently outside the door, just beyond the threshold of the house, for what felt like an incredibly long time, simply so that I could personally witness him depart with my very own eyes. Because if I had not personally seen with my very own eyes that he had indeed left this particular house, I would have absolutely never, ever come back to this specific house again. Otherwise, I might have thought he left through another door, or was hiding somewhere, or was under a couch. He stood there for so long so that the person named Mina would come and see me, to clearly see that he had just left, and truly, in less than a second, he completely disappeared. The very moment I arrived, he departed, but it was evident he was patiently waiting for me, outside the door. And the very last message that he gave to me was this, and it was truly important. Why were you afraid of me? Why are you allowing your valuable and irreplaceable life to be gradually destroyed and negatively impacted by something that has recently appeared and is fundamentally incapable of inflicting any genuine or lasting harm upon you? He had come to personally deliver to me a very important message. A message of awareness. The profound message was to completely take away from me the very thing I had truly feared throughout my entire life. Something I was truly never ever really willing to face. And when I truly looked at myself through his very own eyes, it was this exactly. We, even if it's Charlie, are far too small to block your great path, because I had decided not to make podcasts, not to be on this path, not to recommend anything to anyone, not to consult with anyone, not to help anyone anymore. Because I was upset with myself. And then, after he gave me this message, I came up from underwater and returned to my own body. And I truly believe that this message was given to me, and now I am passing it on to you. Please, take this special message from dear Charlie. Don't let things that have no meaning at all. A little snake. Its fear had to leave my life. I had goals that I wanted to give up on, to never enter this house again, and who knows where I would have ended up. I mean, just a little snake. Little Charlie could have led me astray from my life. And these past 3 or 4 days have wrecked me. Seeing that snake and seeing this snake and the events that happened. Don't get discouraged from your goals because of things that happen to you. They're small. They come and go because they want to correct something in us. Because they want to reveal our shadows, and now is the time. Now is the time for us to say goodbye to our shadows, our fears, and our past. We have to truly trust in ourselves, deeply believing that I am inherently strong, that I possess a profound and meaningful purpose, and that I absolutely will not allow these challenging circumstances and the various encounters that inevitably happen throughout life to ever knock me off that truly great and illuminated path, the path of unconditional love and profound awareness, nor will they ever make me lose complete sight of my ultimate and cherished goal. Whatever your goal may be, that beautiful bird that gracefully sits upon the sturdy branch of a towering tree truly believes in the strength and capability of its very own wings. It doesn't trust the branch because the branch might break and it might fall out from under its feet. But it trusts its wings so much that if something like that happens, it knows it can fly. When I finally came out of the cool, refreshing water, I was completely and utterly in love with Charlie. and countless thousands upon thousands of times coming out of the vast and deep sea and then moving gracefully onto the sandy shore, I expressed my profound gratitude and heartfelt thanks to him, acknowledging his immense presence and the countless blessings he bestowed upon me. I profoundly thanked the benevolent creator of all existence that the unsettling things which seemed like terrifying nightmares to me happened during these solitary few days of complete solitude, when absolutely no one was around me at all. It was a truly profound and undeniable kind of divine blessing, a celestial gift that graciously descended upon me, along with so many other significant and impactful revelations and insights that I've extensively talked about and thoroughly discussed over the many years, specifically regarding this incredibly enigmatic and profoundly deceptive being, this ancient and remarkably wise philosopher, the serpent, often referred to as the snake. It came and answered my questions right at the precise moment when I was in the vast sea. Those answers are personal. I just wanted to share the outcome of this experience with you because it happens to all of us. It seems like a coincidence. We get a bad phone call. Something happens during a trip and we think our world has fallen apart, but it actually happens because something better is waiting for us afterwards. And interestingly, as I consistently kept expressing profound gratitude for it, I truly felt completely free. I felt absolutely victorious. I felt like I was incredibly strong now, indeed. I no longer felt like that boy I saw in the store and accused. After all, snakes truly belong within the confines of a dedicated zoo, and certainly not in a public establishment where people regularly purchase their essential groceries. All of this was deserved because of the things I had done, because of the judgments I had made, because of the fear I had. A fear that had been with me my whole life finally let me go. It was so kind. I was completely inside it, and it looked directly at me with an immense sense of love and affection. And with these particular thoughts, I slowly went directly toward my designated seat to carefully pick up my soft, clean towel. My phone, after just about 2 seconds of inactivity, I think all of our modern phones are designed to be like this. If you don't actively use it, it automatically turns off its display. My phone was indeed on, and from my twin at precisely 7-11, which is in fact my personal number. That's my designated number. When I want to receive a message, 7-11 invariably shows up, and that particular day was the 7th day. It was the 7th day of June. And 11, which is my birthday. At precisely 7:11 in the morning, my twin sister sent a picture of a sweet little girl holding a beautiful bouquet of fresh flowers, offering them, and underneath it was clearly written, "Happy birthday." She was, in fact, coming here for my birthday. There was absolutely no logical or apparent reason for her to send me this particular message 3 days earlier at that specific moment. These are spiritual connections. She had sensed something, that I had been born again. And honestly, even though I have experienced and celebrated many, many birthdays throughout my entire life, after every single significant incident or profound event, I consistently wrote to her expressing that I truly felt as if I had just been born into this world at that very moment, starting anew. It is truly important to understand that the various things that happen throughout our lives, none of them are without a significant and underlying reason, and we are now undeniably entering a new time and an entirely different era where all these occurrences will progressively begin to seem very normal and entirely commonplace. Things that for years and years, 70 years, 170 years, 200 or 300 years, we didn't understand or grasp. From now on, these matters, these spiritual closenesses, entering into one another's bodies and feeling the other, leaving the body and receiving messages, all of these are coming. All of this is coming into our lives, into all of our lives. If we open our eyes, if we open our hearts, and if we send out the message that I am ready to receive what I need to know. I am grateful to the universe, to my higher self. Thank you. I thank Charlie, and I thank you for listening to this experience of mine, which was very interesting for me, a lesson for me, and I shared it with you. And thank you for the time you gave me and for listening. I hope these new births happen for each and every one of you and that you share them with us. I kiss all of your hearts and entrust you to my great God. May your hearts be happy, may you be at peace, and may your lips always smile.